Everybody, yeah, welcome to Just for Women Africa. My name is Olaleko Amusa, the founder of Just for Women Africa. And today on the show, we have with us Agnes Shiode Johnson, who is the CEO of Limitless Studios. Are you a lover of cartoons? Well, I am. I can watch cartoons the whole day. And Agnes and her company make 3D animation cartoons. Agnes has worked as a producer for over 15 years in various companies, BBC, MTV, Amazon, GT Bank, MTN. She'll be talking to us about Omoberry, which is produced by Limitless Studios, and why she decided to create cartoon characters. And she'll talk to us about the company, their plans for the future, and anything else that comes up during the conversation. She'll stick around and we'll be right back. Okay, everybody, welcome back to Just for Women Africa. We'll have us, Agnes. Hello, Agnes. Welcome to Just for Women Africa.
Hi, Lekon. I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
The pleasures are all ours. Okay, Agnes, could you tell us about Omoberry? I mean, could you tell us about, why you decided to create, a 3D animation character and how, you brought your ideas, into reality?
Yeah, absolutely. So the journey or the story of Limitless Studios and Omoberry started in 2020, towards the end of 2020, around the pandemic. So I come from a TV background, as you said. I've worked across TV production for a number of years for the likes of MTV, Channel 4, etc. I worked in the UK for those brands, and then I decided to move to Lagos in 2013. It was around the time when the whole creative industry in Nigeria was really taking off, and I was really excited, wanted to be part of, the African story in terms of creativity. So I moved to Lagos in 2013. I worked across different various TV live production brands in Lagos. And then I got married and I had babies. I have got two young babies of my own. And I became very aware. And like I said, this was around the time of the pandemic when all people were doing was really sitting in front of the telly, watching TV a lot. So I became very aware of the type of content that my kids were watching. And I just noticed that there was a big lack of representation in content, especially preschool animated content. You had the likes of, great shows such as Peppa Pig and Cocomelon and all the rest of them, but there wasn't anything that spoke to Africa or spoke to Black kids, kids of color. And so, I would see my kids watching these shows and thinking, well, how do they feel not seeing themselves, or at least not seeing the world that they're living in represented in the content that they're watching? And so I basically wanted to do something about that. I wanted to be part of the solution to that. And so I joined forces with the other co-founders of Limitless, and we created Omoberry, which, as you said, is a 3D animated kids show that represents kids of color. And yeah, the plan was really just to create that global kids IP that is from Africa, to show that Africa can do it and that African stories can be appreciated on a global level. And yeah, so far, so good.
Okay, congratulations, congratulations. Okay, so let's talk about Omoberry. It started way back in 2020, 2021. It has grown. It has grown significantly, over 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. Could you tell us about the show? What kind of things are being taught to kids on the show?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you said, we have over 200K subscribers on YouTube. We are approaching 100 million views on YouTube as well, which is great. So the content is really loved because we cover a wide range of themes and topics. Every episode of Omoberry is based on a curriculum, on the US curriculum. That's what we focus on. So it's all educationally sound. We look at social skills, we look at literacy, we look at counting, we look at interpersonal skills like how to relate with other kids. The show itself is focused around four main characters, all of Nigerian descent. We have other African characters as well, but the main four are Nigerian kids. We've got Bisola, we've got Kunle, we've got Chiamaka, we've got Kezie. And yeah, they're basically four kids living in this fictional African town, and they're learning about friendships and diversity and how to relate to each other, and just, I guess, how to enjoy life as 6 to 8 year old kids, but do it in a safe way, do it in an educational way, and learn about their culture, and Africa as well. So we've got some episodes, for example, where the kids journey to the Egyptian pyramids and they learn all about the fact that it was Black people, it was Africans, you know, that created these amazing structures that have gone down in history as being just mind-blowing. They visit South Africa as well. We've also got an episode about, of course, kids being kids, they love fire trucks and, like, you know, things like that. So we've got an episode on fire trucks and fire safety. So like I said, every episode has a learning to it as well. And the fire episode is actually our most viewed video to date. We have over 20 million views on that video alone. We learn about water safety, you know, it's safety in the pool, which is unfortunately, you know, a way in which most parents or even most kids don't know how to really, you know, teach their kids about water safety. So we've done it in a fun, engaging way as well. So yeah, we're just bringing in different themes. What I always say about Omoberry, one of the reasons why I think it's so well received is because although it's authentically African, it's still very much globally appealing, right? So a kid in Poland can watch it and still relate to it because they're doing everyday life things. And the storytelling is really clever, is really smart. So yeah, it relates to a global audience, which is what we're seeing in our views as well. So 40% of Omoberry views actually comes from the US, and followed by the UK. So obviously the diaspora markets, but then we've also got a large viewership coming from Southeast Asia as well. So you can just see that, you know, kids from or families from all around the world are really loving and appreciating the content, which is awesome for us to see.
That's nice. It reminds me of my childhood. Okay. All right. It did mention that the Omoberry is based around 4 characters and they're all Nigerians. Are there any plans to, you know, get other African kids onto Omoberry, you know, for like Kenya, South Africa, you know, with the different accents and all?
Yes, so we do have other African kids focused. We have a Kenyan kid called Otieno. We have a South African girl called Kosi. We have a Ghanaian character called Mensa. And we've recently included other characters from around the world as well. We've now got an Indian boy called Ravi. Actually, he may not be Indian. I think he may be from, no, he is. We've got an Indian boy called Ravi. We've got a girl from Indonesia called, I really shouldn't, called Inda. We've got a white girl who, I think she's American, like Irish American, called Sophie. So we're bringing in other characters from around the world because, of course, you know, even within Africa, Africa's not completely Black. You have other nationalities there as well. And so, like I said, we really just want to create a world that looks like the world our children are actually living in. And that is a multicultural world, even within Africa itself. So that's really important to us.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about your production. How do you determine what topic to discuss on each shows? How do your team go around it to ensure that, you know, when it's finally produced, it's much educated to children and also basically also adults as well, as because they watch together with the kids?
That's a great question. Thank you. So we put a lot of attention and detail into the development of the content. We have a great development team that, you know, works across the scripting, works across the themes and topics that are going to be featured. We have an amazing head of learning, a lady called Ola Yinka, and she's amazing. She has over like 20 years experience in the early educational space. And so she's the one who kind of heads up the development team in terms of ensuring, like I said, that each episode has educational like back into it. So in terms of the process that they use, is really we will all brainstorm themes and ideas that we would want to feature per season. It's usually done in a season. 5 Omoberry episodes makes up 1 season. And so, yeah, we look across topical themes for an entire season and follow the story arc for those 5 episodes. And then we'll move on to another theme for the next season. And the way we do that is really looking at themes and topics that are engaging and that appeal to the age group that Omoberry focuses on, which is currently about 2 to 8, which sound like quite a large age group. So we've got episodes that caters to more of the younger audience. I don't know whether you've noticed, but we've recently introduced 2 younger cast members called Kit and Kiki, and they're twins, and they're probably like toddler age, like about 2, 3. And so that appeals to our younger demographic. And then we've got our main cast who, like I said, are between the ages of 6 and 8. And that appeals to our older demographic as well. So we ensure that the themes kind of covers those age ranges. Yeah, and we just, teach them things that I guess you could say life skills as well that they need to know, like how to be more confident in themselves. We recently released an episode called We Can Do This, which is literally just like a positive affirmation song for kids, just saying, yeah, I can do this, I can do what I put my mind to, I can do anything. And especially in today's world, we feel like kids need a lot more of that. Just encouraging them and just letting them know that they are able to do, what they dream to do.
That's very important. Affirmations are very, very important in life. Okay, so let's talk about the show. I mean, it's been running for basically about 2 to 3 years now. What has been the feedback been back from parents? Do they get to interact with you and your production team? Do they give feedback and suggestions on shows they would like to see or things they would like their kids to learn? Or, I mean, basically, or if they have seen something negative in any of their shows, have they been able to communicate with you and your team?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, absolutely. We always get feedback from our audience members all the time. And we find that really, really important, because the only way that we can get better is if we ensure that, we're creating content that our audience wants to see. So we often do focus groups where we interact and engage with parents and guardians, of the kids who watch our shows. We recently did one where we had a number of mothers, and they were just talking to us about what they like about Omoberry, what they don't want to like, what they don't want to see as well. And we find that our viewers are very open to give us feedback, which is great. So we're able to get feedback. We've got on our YouTube page, or even on our website, we've got our email address there, which we get emails all the time of like viewers saying, oh, I really like this episode, or oh no, I didn't like this one, I feel you could have done that one better. And we take all of that on board, even via our Instagram. They're always sending us messages as well, and these messages are definitely seen. Like, it's not like we just, they're just put somewhere. Like, we go through them and we take on board all the feedback that is given, by the people who are watching our show, because like I said, they're the ones who are making the 100 million views that we're getting. So we need to ensure that it's done to their liking. And yeah.
Let's talk about Limitless Studios. Basically, you're setting the pace up for 3D animation cartoons in Africa. What do you think is the future for that in Africa? And do you think other people around Africa would look at Omoberry and also look at thinking of creating character cartoons for kids?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope so. And there are already so many great animation studios in and around Africa, like amazing content's coming out of Africa in terms of animation. Recently, I think this week particularly, there's been a lot of announcements about big productions coming out of Africa. There's a Netflix show coming out. There's Disney Plus, of course. There's Cartoon Network as well. So even the major studios have started to look at Africa, because they're seeing that our stories need to be told. They're seeing that we have the talent on ground to be able to produce and create amazing content that the world needs to see. So I definitely think that Omoberry is the first it's the first of its kind, but it won't be the last, because I'm hoping that others have seen what we've been able to achieve, and they are going to want to do their own, and there's enough space for all of us to be here. So yeah, I do hope that it encourages other content creators to go down a similar path, and to create the shows that they want to create as well. For sure. Like I said, Omoberry for me was very personal. I saw what my kids were watching. I thought there should be more. There should be more options to this, and that was my story. But everybody has their own in terms of, I want to create this type of show, and I just feel like, especially African creators, they should be, just given the ability and the resources. There needs to be definitely more funding available in this part of the world for what we're doing, to be able to allow creatives to be creative.
Okay, everything looks good. I mean, 200K viewers on YouTube, and over 100 million viewers on YouTube. Could you tell us, starting off, Limitless and Omoberry, could you tell us what were some of the challenges you encountered? I'm sure you had standing blocks in front of you. I'm sure you woke up some days thinking, oh, am I doing the right project? Stuff like that. What are some of the, challenges, as you started?
As we started, yeah, so the first Omoberry episode launched February 2021. And for us, it was, we were starting something that hadn't really been done before in terms of an African preschool animated kids show being launched solely on YouTube. So Omoberry is a digital first IP, right? It's online, it's accessible digitally as opposed to on the traditional broadcast channels. And so that in itself, I'm not sure. I wouldn't say it was a challenge, but that in itself was a area that we weren't too sure of. We didn't know how it was going to be received. So a lot of it at the beginning was risk taking and just trying things and seeing what happens. I think in terms of our team, we've been very blessed with our team. We have an awesome team in terms of our animators and our production team. So yeah, in terms of challenges, I think I mentioned before funding, wanting to get funding for African content isn't always so accessible. So that was a challenge. But besides that, like I said, we still have an amazing team on ground. So we were able to overcome any challenges before they became challenges. And again, having content on YouTube meant that we were able to engage directly with our audience. So we were able to cut out the middleman, which helped. So I felt like that cut down potential areas of challenges as well.
Are there any plans to expand Omoberry to TV stations, Netflix? Because currently it's only now on YouTube.
It's only now on YouTube. Yeah, we are. We're open. We're very open. So anyone's watching this video, come and see us. We're really open to getting Omoberry out to as many places and channels as possible. We definitely believe that what we're doing is a mission, it's something that needs to be seen around the world. And so we definitely want that to happen. In terms of expanding the brand, we actually have an Omoberry music album coming out soon. So we're going down the original music lane where all the music from our episodes, well, not all of them, but most of the music from our episodes will be available online to streams, to Spotify, etc., etc. We have an Omoberry shop on our website, so please do check that out as well. So where we've gone into merchandising, that's still up and coming, but we have some like t-shirts and hoodies and other items that have the Omoberry visuals on it as well. And I guess eventually, if we think about the long-term plans, we would want to go into toys and consumer products and games and apps and just other areas, other ways to expand this Omoberry universe.
Oh, that's exciting. That's exciting. Okay, as we round up the interview, could you tell us what's the future for Omoberry?
From what we've built with Omoberry so far, we've proved that we can build out an audience, right? And it's that same audience that is a loyal viewership to the brand. And once we start to bring out products as well, they would want to buy into that because they already have an affinity with the Omoberry brand. So that's kind of like our roadmap in terms of where we see Omoberry specifically going with Limitless in general. So obviously Limitless is like the holding company to Omoberry, and our plan is to have a number of IP, so to have a slate of IP. So Omoberry is like proof of concept again to show that we're able to build out an audience and build out other audiences around other IPs as well. So potentially there's no reason why Limitless can't be, the Pixar of Africa or the Disney of Africa with, all these other IPs under our belts. That would be the long-term aim for us.
Okay, Agnes, what's your last word? This is just for Women in Africa, and we interview a lot of women in Africa, in the diaspora and around the world. What's your advice to women in general who feel that it's a man's world, who feel that, they didn't manage to start a business, who feel that, in order to start a business, they get sexually harassed, and who feel that there are lots of standing blocks around the way? What's your advice to women, basically?
Yeah, let's be realistic in terms of the world today and the challenges that women are facing. Like, it's out there. And so I don't feel like it's a case of saying, oh, just, just get up and go and you can do it, which of course you can. But yeah, you have to be aware of the obstacles that are likely to be in your way, but at the same time, understanding that you are able to overcome them. And it doesn't always have to be by yourself. Like you don't have to be one woman standing, by yourself. I really believe in collaboration. I really believe in supporting other women. I know sometimes it sounds cliche, women supporting women, but I really believe that having a strong backing of other women behind you really helps you to achieve so much more. So what I would say to other women who want to start out businesses, or just do something that they've always had a passion to do, it is to go ahead and do it. Be prepared for challenges along the way, but you know that you can overcome it and that you can be what it is that you want to be, but also for other women looking at you as well, like do it so that you can inspire others to be what they want to be as well.
All right, Agnes, thank you a lot for being with us on the show. Really appreciate it. We look forward to interviewing again in the future. Wish you all the best with Omoberry and Limitless Studios.
Thank you very much. Please go watch Omoberry.
Definitely. And to our viewers, don't forget to like, subscribe, tell your friend who knows a friend about Just Women Africa. And to the next show from Agnes and I, it will be bye.
Bye.